fingers, but without arms. They're invisible to the naked eye. Only peering through microscope, their dazzling shapes and sizes come to light. They are bugs, and they're back with a vengeance. New avatars of deadly bugs unleash destructive power, claiming millions of lives. Unfortunately, poverty-stricken people bear the brunt of this attack. This spurred scientists to find ways to tame the invading army of bugs. In India, scientists from the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research have launched a massive search for drugs. These men in white coats are busy in inventing novel drugs for diseases like tuberculosis, malaria, Kala-Azar, filariasis and AIDS.
When it comes to the issue of the health of the poor, among many things, they require diagnostics, vaccines, therapeutics, and the big challenge before India is how can we make them available, affordable and accessible, particularly for the poor. CSIR's aim has been to do precisely this.
CSIR labs aim to develop new drugs and novel process technologies. The cardinal goal of CSIR labs is to design drugs for communicable diseases that ravage the poor people. Amid 19 CSIR labs involved in healthcare programs, 7 labs are playing a pivotal role in drug research since their inception back in the 50s. The seed was sown when the late Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru inaugurated Lucknow-based CSIR lab, the Central Drug Research Institute, in 1951. With increasing burden of diseases, India's population swells to over 1 billion. Population explosion is about to progress in any arena. This triggered CSIR labs to search for anti-malarial drugs and ways to check population. CDRI has designed a drug that is effective against a malaria bug that causes relapsing malaria. Known as ilobaquine, it is free from any side effects associated with primaquine, a popular anti-malarial drug. NCL, a CSIR lab in Pune, has succeeded in producing an anti-HIV drug called azithromycin. Tying up with Cipla, an Indian pharmaceutical company, the Pune-based lab invented cost-effective processes to produce anti-HIV drugs like stamovidine and lamivudine. Another disease that affects Indians is coronary artery disease. Also known as CAD, the major cause of this disease is a blood clot. Such a clot clogs the coronary artery that ferries blood to heart muscle. Deprived of blood, heart eventually stops pumping out blood. This leads to victim's death. Intech, a Chandigarh-based CSIR lab, has developed a technology to produce a clotbuster protein called streptokinase. This protein is extracted from bacteria. Regional Research Laboratory, a CSIR lab based in Jammu, has discovered a compound called piperine that enhances the efficacy of anti-TB drugs like rifampicin. Known as bioenhancer, piperine enhances the efficacy of rifampicin. Piperine also reduces the dose of rifampicin and its toxic side effects. CDRI has designed a new oral contraceptive drug called Sencrumen. It is devoid of steroids. It could be taken as weekly doses. Hindustan Latex introduced this drug to market as Saheli. CDRI also made another breakthrough. This lab invented a sterile contraceptive cream called Consap. This cream has been developed by using saponins from soapnut or rita collected from a plant called Sapindus mucorosi. All clinical trials proved this contraceptive cream to be safe and effective. Search for a chemical lead molecule showing desired biological activity is only a small fraction of the work involving drug development. The next important step is to assess safer and effective dose of the drug through various studies in animals and clinical studies in humans. CDRI, IICT, RRL Jammu and CMAP have invented fine technologies for the production of their own candidate drugs. For a drug to be effective, development of novel formulation and perfect delivery to specific diseased organ are vital. With promises of new therapies, CSIR scientists are poised to eradicate age-old diseases that plague people living in abject poverty.
When the Ice Age gripped the Earth about 40 millennia ago, our human ancestors showed an unprecedented burst of creativity. They fashioned exotic tools, carved jewelry, and even rendered wonderful cave paintings. They emancipated their mind beyond material culture. They began to ponder over the riddles of disease, death, and afterlife. Then these smartest of hunter-gatherers made another leap. Watching sick animals using plants, they explored the healing power of herbs. This chance discovery spawned rudimentary herbal medicine. Gradually, a community of healers grew in ancient human society. These healers passed the knowledge of herbs down the family line. Since then, herbal medicine has been the panacea for countless humans. Indian scientists from the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research embarked on the fascinating journey of drug discovery from medicinal plants.
So the essential point is looking at our traditional knowledge, looking at our rich biodiversity, and looking at our great strengths in taking a molecule to the marketplace. CSIR is making a difference.
How did CSIR scientists begin their hunt for drugs? Guided by old texts and folk tales, they trekked the high mountains, braved the scorching heat of deserts, and even made forays into the isolated world of tribes to gather medicinal plants. Back in the lab, scientists began a tireless search. They sifted through hundreds of plant chemicals. Their journey began with the gum of the gugul tree. Like sleuths, scientists scanned the gum for traces of drug molecule, and their tenacity paid off. During the 80s, CSIR scientists from the Lucknow-based Central Drug Research Institute chanced upon a chemical in the gugul gum. Known as gugulipid, the chemical was run through trials. The outcome was stunning. Gugulipid lowered the high levels of blood cholesterol and triglycerides in humans. Probing gugulipid, these scientists made a startling discovery. Gugulipid worked wonders owing to the presence of an active compound called gugulsterones. Soon, gugulipid hit the market as Guglip. The same CSIR lab tasted another success while examining the memory-enhancing power of Brahmi, a medicinal herb. Unlike the untreated ones, animals treated with the Brahmi extract showed shorter reaction time. It also enhanced memory in primates and humans. After these trials, the extract came to the market as ProMind. After that, CSIR scientists focused their attention on malaria. Malaria is still a cause of worry. Every year, it claims 1.5 to 3 million lives worldwide. The bug that causes malignant malaria is a fugitive. It plays hide and seek with anti-malaria drugs like chloroquine. Shortly after taking refuge in the human liver, it quickly migrates to the brain. There it cripples the brain cells, and deep coma engulfs the victim. Two CSIR labs from Lucknow produced an anti-malaria drug from a Chinese herb known as Artemisia. This herb produces artemisinin, a chemical that kills malaria parasites. CSIR scientists have discovered several vital plant chemicals. Scientists from the Lucknow-based Central Institute of Medicinal and Aromatic Plants have discovered bioenhancer molecules like glycyrrhizine and lysergol. Glycyrrhizine increases the efficiency of anti-cancer drugs and come from the jatimad plant. The kaladana plant yields lysergol, which reduces the dose of antibiotics. But the seesaw battle between man and microbe goes on. Humans are relentless, so too are bugs. Humans invent new weapons and bugs switch strategy to defy human attack. Wily bugs creep in to ravage vital organs. One such culprit is Staphylococcus epidermidis, a bacterium that wreaks havoc on the human heart. This bug sneaks into patients with artificial heart valves. But a group of CSIR scientists from Lucknow have discovered that the root extract of evening prime rose destroys this bug, resistant to all antibiotics. The urge to discover anti-cancer drugs lured scientists to the Himalayas, home to many medicinal plants. Rummaging through myriad plants, scientists came across a medicinal plant called burmi. Its needles contain a chemical called diacetyl-baccatin. The CSIR lab in Pune has devised a semi-synthetic process. This process churns out Taxol, an anti-cancer drug from diacetyl-baccatin. For humans, cancer is a nightmare, but crippling bone diseases have been a major health concern, especially arthritic diseases like rheumatoid arthritis and osteoarthritis. CSIR scientists from the Jammu-based Regional Research Laboratory have invented a herbal drug that alleviates osteoarthritis and rheumatoid arthritis. They designed the drug from the gum of simul. The drug comes to the market as Salaki. The same lab has discovered two other important polyherbal drugs, Livzon and Liv1. CSIR scientists use tissue culture to grow medicinal plants and their various parts in labs. Adopting callus culture, a special type of tissue culture, the CSIR lab in Pune has churned out enophilolides, an anti-HIV compound from Sultana Champa. This lab has also developed tissue culture techniques to grow various parts and embryos of different medicinal plants like kokum, jatimad, ashwagandha and godumar. No discovery is successful until it makes its way from the lab to the market. For herbal drugs, a huge global market lies unexplored. But the major hurdle is the lack of scientific and clinical data. The World Health Organization has laid down specific guidelines on the quality, efficacy and safety of herbal drugs. To carve a niche in the global market, CSIR scientists are working hard in maintaining guidelines. The National Botanical Research Institute, a CSIR lab in Lucknow, has the largest herbarium. This lab harbors 225,000 specimens of various plants. The herbarium at Jammu houses a collection of more than 18,000 plant specimens. The lab at Palampur also has a huge collection. At the dawn of a new millennium, the CSIR labs play midwife to the rebirth of herbal medicine. Neglected as snake oil and undermined to be the knowledge of the quacks. Herbal medicine now is subject to intense scientific scrutiny in CSIR labs. Unnoticed to the outside world, herbal medicine morphs are shaking off its hangover of yesteryears to be put on with equal footing with modern medicine. CSIR labs open up new avenues of herbal therapies which will revolutionize the future of medicine.